stuff.
Dude, it's been a while since you've been in.
2 years we figured out, right?
Yeah, 2 years. Last time you were in here, we were talking about it. He was still in a kitchen. He was down at Global Grill still.
You're
Still
not
working at
Global
Global.
anymore. I was
I'm not. No.
refreshing my memory and listening to some of your episodes. And I was listening to the craft episode, which I have to mention them because they mentioned us like 3 times
Yeah.
during their episode.
Yeah.
And some Jason and Cherokee episodes and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And you were talking about working at Global. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Did you get into the insurance thing? Is that what it was?
Real estate.
Real estate.
Real estate.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a year and a half ago. Almost a year and a half ago, something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was listening to episodes with my friends on them. They were a little ways
Yeah.
back, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It's crazy that it's been 2 years, though, since...
It really doesn't feel like it has.
doesn't.
Because I remember you telling stories about going up there to get those weird berries.
Huckleberries.
Huckleberries.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it was,
That
like it
move,
had just
dude.
happened.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. So
yeah,
you
I
guys have
got-
been hard at work.
Yeah, I got a kid now. Since then, he's 15
Shit.
months old. So
Wow, you had a kid like right after you left.
yeah, we fucked on the way out of here, and then
Oh, wow.
Damn, so that
you
was
know, 9
that. It
months
was
later,
right
that was
then,
it.
huh?
No.
Jeez, that's good. Well,
But no, yeah, it was.
look at the podcast. Look at what it's doing for
Yeah.
the community.
Thank you for bringing my boy.
We're spreading
in.
love. It's the Brooklyn way, you know?
Yeah.
And I brought my buddy Luke today. He was my business partner in our new venture.
Luke in studio.
yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's him.
That's awesome, dude.
That's dope,
Hell yeah.
dude. So the business you guys share is
Milkweed Spirits.
hell yeah.
And also Monarch Path Imports. We're doing a couple of different things. We started out as doing the imports thing because we have some friends locally who are starting a tequila brand, and they needed an importer for their products. And I don't remember why, just because we could. I guess they needed somebody, and it's good to keep it
Yeah.
close.
So
Yeah.
he and I were talking about another thing that Ryan and I started that we had to get away from was a nonprofit in Pensacola that's. We ended up having to give it away because ultimately the nonprofit is going to have its own bar, and we can't be tier 1 and tier 3.
There's all kinds of levels
Because of the
Yeah.
laws.
stuff with the
But
law.
when we were working that nonprofit, we were trying to come up with ideas actually similar to Night Moves Fest. That's a real similar one to what we were coming up with. And then it kind of evolved from talking about that into we became the importer for this other guy that we were working with through that. And yeah, did we say the name of it?
Monarch Path. Yeah.
Did we say the name of the tequila?
Are we allowed to say the name of the tequila?
I would assume so.
Yeah, it's called Assassinato.
Yeah, Corey and them.
Yeah, okay, so you know.
I
yeah.
figured I didn't want to just
I-
throw the
no,
name
no,
because
that's
y'all were
what-
like dancing
when you
around
said it, we were like,
Theoretically,
that's
it's on its
probably
way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's almost ready to be shipped from Mexico,
Yeah, it's
so
bottled
it'll be
and-
here soon.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
It's supposed to. I think it's supposed to leave Mexico next week or the end
wow.
of this
I
week.
kn-
Like it's very soon.
Yeah, I've seen him post like like the hype around everything, and then posting with people and like kind
Yeah.
of getting everything driving up for it. But I didn't know when the official, kind of
we
around.
didn't either.
Well,
It's
Yeah.
all
there you
based
go.
on Mexico
I
and how
guess
fast they
that's-
can do stuff, and sometimes it's a real drag.
Yeah,
They work on their own schedule. But it's good tequila too.
It is.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
what
very
he's.
good.
He told us when he was on here. He's like, "Yeah, brother."
And they've
Yeah.
got 2 or 3 varieties.
I think they're bringing in
Three to start?
maybe 4 actually.
Yeah, they've
'Cause
got
isn't there a
different
black, a white-
blancos
yeah.
and
Yeah.
anejos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Reposado.
So once we were doing that, we had to have a bonded space for importing, and then it was like, well, the warehouse where we stored our Big Jerk soda, me and Jen, I saw my neighbor moving out, and he had about 3,000 square feet.
yeah.
And I went right to the landlord, and I was like, "What's up with that?"
Yeah.
And he said, "This is what's up. This is what it'll cost you." And after a little bit more conversation, we decided that, you know, with that much space, we could probably start some a distilled spirits plant to do ready to drink cocktails was the main focus when
Yeah.
we started. And so we leased the space, and 8 months of Luke fighting with the government about what's what and
Oh
all the
my gosh.
licensing and stuff. And then
Yeah.
what was it, March when we were official?
June.
June.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it took a long time.
Yeah, it took a long time, and it was just
And-
reading walls of text.
And you're just paying rent on a place, paying
You
rent
can't
on a
do
place,
it,
not
yeah.
doing anything but just big jerk work. And that was cool to have a lot of space for big jerk,
Right.
but it doesn't
Yeah.
generate, you know.
The
And
kind
now
of
we're
revenue.
already out of space. we already need
Wow.
more space.
Well,
I
those
remember-
totes are stackable. We should be
Yeah.
okay.
I remember seeing the Wes Anderson style video y'all dropped, and I was like, "That is
hard.
Yeah,
Hard
our
as nails,
friends, our
dude.
friends Grant and Mary with Southern Creative,
We're getting married on Saturday.
They're getting married on Saturday, so I'll be going to their wedding
Happy
and
marriage.
the festival.
That's dope.
But they did a really amazing and they were popping up all over the place at that point.
Yeah.
And I think we were probably a little late to the trend, but theirs was so good that we had to hire them to come in and play with us for a couple of days.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was a good time.
They're
That's
both
super cool.
just tremendous people too.
Yeah. Grant deleted our fantasy football league, though. I will rat him out for that.
He deleted it?
Yeah, he was trying to mess with his basketball fantasy league, and he accidentally deleted our entire league at 8 games into the season or whatever we are.
How do you
Oh,
even
this is a
recover
fresh.
from that?
This is like a fresh wound.
This is a wound that is currently
Oh,
still
yeah,
open.
yeah.
Oh my!
He
That
sent
is
a
very
thing. He
gosh.
sent a thing yesterday where he's like, "I just guessed at what everybody's points were since we can't find them. We found our lineups.
And he all of a sudden is back at the top.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
he's still down at
crazy.
the bottom with me.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
it's like he just went 1,400, 1,350, 1,300, 1,250. You know what I mean? Like, but I think for me, it's my favorite fantasy season I've ever participated in.
Yeah.
It's just the chaos of it and the people who are really, really into it being
Really upset.
Really upset.
Yeah.
Just there's nothing that makes me.
Well, because there are the two kinds of people in the fantasy league, right? It's the people that take it way too seriously and they come to the draft with like a clipboard of info, and then there's the people that are just like, fuck it, I want to have fun. You know what I mean? Like I don't really
I was borrowing
understand.
people's sheets.
Yeah, like
the thing.
what?
Dude, and it burns people alive. Like, I think Cedric, our
yeah.
buddy that moved to Maryland,
Yeah.
he won one once, like, just fell into it.
Yeah.
And it killed the crew. Like, they were pissed.
That's me.
They're like, he doesn't even pay attention.
Right.
I'm the
The
one.
outlier.
I'm the one in our. I'm in 2 fantasy leagues with basically the same people. One's an 8-man league and one's a 12-man league, but the 8 are also in the 12. The 8's a keeper, but every year they have to explain to me, like not even just how
I'm not that
fantasy
bad.
works, but like I don't really know how football.
Me
works.
neither. I mean, I get, like, you pick people and they get points for you or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, I think with Cedric, they needed him to make the league final. They couldn't find
Complete.
another person.
Yeah.
He didn't even want to do it. So he did it, and then he won it.
I win all the time.
oof.
I've won multiple years in a row. I placed in both of the leagues last year.
Cool guy. Lucky fucking you.
I'm
I've been
good.
playing for
Dude,
12 years, and I've been in the playoffs almost every year and never won.
I suck this year. My team sucks. I've got
Mine too.
Mahomes, who had a 4-point game yesterday.
Oh yeah, he had that
Yikes.
flu deal.
That the NFL is rigged, and they said I have to mess up the spread. Flu.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha. Dude, the stuff that's going on in the NFL, I don't know about football, so I'll keep my mouth mostly shut. But I've seen some crazy clips of like refs messing around and people who shouldn't be running the ball, and just like weird calls.
Yeah.
Like it's
The calls have been interesting for sure, but there's
That's
some
extent
drama in college football too.
I'm
with-
way
with-
more college football.
Yeah,
myself.
there's some drama in college football right now too, but it's been going on for a couple of years. The whole like Michigan sign stealing stuff.
That's
That's
Oh.
super
crazy.
interesting.
Yeah.
something about that.
Especially for them
Yeah.
to be on top for like 2 years in a row, not winning the
Yeah.
Natty, but being
Yeah.
in title contention, and then
Yeah.
like potentially being front runners. You know, that's gonna go away
tough. Yeah, it's tough.
probably for a long time.
I
and then
agree
Jim
with
Harbaugh
what
might
these
walk
guys are
away.
saying about football, and
Yeah.
I know exactly what they mean. That's what I'm going to say.
He's. I think the reason he's so into it this year is his team is fucking crushing right now.
Who's your team?
Florida State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but hey, we've had a
it's easy
rough
to pay
couple of
attention when
years.
you're killing it. Right?
Well, but honestly though, it's easy to pay attention to everybody. It makes you want to watch all of the college football. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think when you're watching one, you're like,
When you're in a
what
good
the
mood.
scores is.
The
Yeah.
first year I did fantasy, I was living in Atlanta, and I was I moved up there by myself, and kind of didn't have a lot of friends yet and stuff. And so my brothers were like, "We want to start a fantasy league." I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like a good way for me to keep, communicating and stuff." And I watched Falcons football or listened to it on the radio in the kitchen I was working in.
Yeah.
Every Sunday after that, like that's the
Yeah.
only time I've ever been into football. After
Yeah.
that, it just kind of went away.
Yeah.
No, I got that.
Yeah, when I was growing up, it was like NASCAR and Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, I was for
Because
whatever
you grew up
reason.
here, that's
Yeah,
why.
exactly. Like my dad happened to go to school at the same time he did. Claims they were friends. Who knows? You know, I went to the same time Trent did in same classes. We were friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just claiming that.
Yeah.
But-
Who is this? Trent? Who
Trent Richardson.
is this guy? Is this somebody I should know who they are?
Yeah, he was.
Popular.
Yeah, he won multiple national titles
he's
with
pretty big.
Alabama.
Yeah,
and
like
then
I said, I don't. Especially college football, I have no
Yeah.
concept of what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
That's
But
cool.
It's okay.
It's fun to watch.
I know a lot of people who are
Oh
really
yeah,
into it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're making cocktails that you can enjoy while you watch football.
There you go.
So
There
this
you
is
go.
what
That's a good
you're
segue.
making in the new space?
Yeah, so we sorry, I forgot I have to swallow this thing. Yeah, so we started
That's what she said.
the distillery, and with the idea of eventually getting to make like mules ready to drink in a 12-ounce bottle like this, or one of our other cocktail recipes that we've come up with for Big Jerk over the years. But immediately when we got licensed, we started getting lots of random phone calls that seemed to be perfectly timed from people who were looking for, that knew Big Jerk through just the beverage industry or having conversations before. And they were like, we need to help finding a co-packer, an alcohol co-packer. And I was like, well, I think I texted Luke like, we can do this now, right? And so that's how it started with several of our current and future customers. The main one being Yo Drinks, which are these 4 up front here. That was our first co-packing customer, and his name is Tin Nguyen. He's a Vietnamese gentleman that lives here in town. Used to have a beverage business doing like juice dispensers at work places and stuff like that. But then the pandemic killed all that stuff. So his thing went under, and he called me because we had talked back then, and we developed these kind of cool Asian inspired flavors under his guidance, and prototype everything we did in-house. So from the concept to realization, everything was done with our company.
That's awesome.
Which I didn't realize we'd be doing that right away.
Right in the beginning.
It felt really good to knock one out.
That's
right
cool.
into the deep of it.
It really was, because he wanted the whole process from us. We did it from start to finish with him.
The branding is Nathan Dillahay, the guy that does Big Jerk with us. And the beverage we prototyped and formulated in-house, each one of them. We had a 5th flavor that got lost because it sucked so bad we couldn't fix it. It was too expensive. The juice for it was too expensive. These all have real fruit juice, and some of these juices are crazy. Like that passion fruit juice is like $500. It's like $100 a gallon, basically. And so
that yuzu stuff too is hard to find. Like
yuzu was about $400. Was about $75 a gallon, almost $100 a gallon.
That one is so good.
Let's just drink that one.
Yeah,
now. I'm gonna pour.
Do you want to start with that one? Let's not start with that one.
Ah, come on.
Let's not. You want to? Okay.
I think so.
Let's have a little
They
toasty
both
toast.
said yuzu when we got here.
So these are
yuzu is a
You just aren't allowed to be disappointed with the other ones because everybody's going to have their favorites. So this is ours.
okay.
Yeah, they're Asian inspired. They're going to be going in the Asian markets and the Asian restaurants.
Okay.
That's who he's.
Well, and lots of other folks. I
tailoring.
mean, he's already got, for instance, he was texting me all the people that were in. He's already got Everman on board. He's got End of the Line Cafe. He's going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just the real problem. Yeah, nice, right?
Oh my goodness.
The real problem we're having now is distribution, figuring out who will.
Cheers.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cheers.
Chin.
Thank you guys.
I just taught my kid how to do that. He loves it. So that's real yuzu juice. Our house-made vodka.
Oh my god.
And
That's
just a little bit of
Yuzu
sugar.
is so good.
That goes
It's
down.
so
It
good.
does. It goes down quick too.
That
Brother.
with some electrolytes before a run?
Brother. I don't know if that's a before run beverage, but
After
Maybe
a run?
after the run.
That's just
celebratory
that's
drink.
refreshing.
Take
Yeah.
that bottle. Look that bottle over.
Yeah, here's the branding and stuff that Nathan did for it.
nice.
The cool thing about this, I'll brag on Nathan and his kid real quick, is Nathan had the concept and he mocked it up digitally for 10, and with these brushstroke designs on the front of the bottle and stuff. And once Tin approved that concept, him and his daughter did like 500 brushstrokes at the kitchen table, like physical brushstrokes, and then he picked his 4 favorite ones and colorized them digitally. So these are the actual brushstrokes that his daughter
Oh,
made.
wow.
dude, that's awesome.
Ended up being the main aspect of the branding on there. Which,
that is.
I love
so
that
super
everything
cute.
you guys do or y'all are involved in is like, it takes the extra.
Yeah.
You're
You
not
always
just going
go
like
the-
with what is the easiest thing to do real quick.
right.
Let's
We
just
can't
do
compete with
That's awesome.
kind of super corporate manufacturing of
Yeah.
any kind. So our thing is the local, kind of touch and the care with detail and using local people when we can for projects like this and stuff like that. So that's who we can be. It's kind of like I've referred to it like Dunder Mifflin. You guys Office fans at
brother.
all? So
Yeah.
the People's Paper Company is
Yeah.
what Michael Scott says. But we can't touch the other guys in prices, but we're
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
could you go to Tito's and say, "Hey, will you make me this?" I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know
Or
what I
call
mean?
Kelly and customer service and just get her on the phone.
Yeah, no,
Probably not.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
not even a chance.
And that's what that's the edge that we have, is that if you're looking to work with someone,
Yeah.
with a person and with a good
Artist,
team
yeah.
of local people, that's what we can
Yeah.
offer to folks.
So you said this whole process was with, I mean, all you guys. So how long did that process take as far as going through to
Yeah,
figure
them
out
reaching
the
you-
recipe,
reaching
know,
out to you
or the
and-
the flavors that you kind of wanted to go on, and then researching all that and getting it kind of dialed in? How long did all that?
So from the first phone call with Tin
Mm-hmm.
to where we then started meeting with him and talking about what we might be able to do, what direction he wanted to go, then to getting samples of different juices and things, and then to making it and getting it in bottles and on pallets and ready to go. I think it was probably about 3 months. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
3 months.
And it just, his timeline lined up with ours perfectly, so that when we became legal,
Yeah.
which we couldn't formulate before
like
we were legal.
days before he called us, we became legal.
So we became
Wow.
legal and then got right in there. Wow. We started producing right when he was ready for product.
Now,
Very
wh-
fake it till you make it, but we told him that. Like we
Yeah.
were like, listen,
Yeah.
he loved our soda brand. He loves our
Yeah.
soda brand, and he even wanted to put Big Jerk on the label.
Yeah, he
because
loves
because
Big
he
Jerk
wants
so
that,
much.
you know,
That's
the
sick.
That we
same
had
kind of
to-
affiliation.
We ended up having DBA Milkweed Spirits as
Yeah,
Big Jerk Black Label because of that client. He wanted it to say
Right.
Big Jerk on his
Gotcha.
bottle, not Milkweed.
Oh, yeah.
but so anyway, I forgot the question now.
3 months concept
yeah.
to completion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
what does that
he
normally run?
So we were able to just tell him, listen, we have never worked with alcohol before other than to make our own cocktails.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you've had Big Jerk, you know what we do. I'm familiar with all these ingredients and components we're going to be using. I got all the juices from the same supplier I get all my other juices from. So I know the ins and outs of the industry enough,
Right.
at least at the scale that we're at,
Yeah.
that it wasn't super difficult. Like I didn't have to play in a lab for 3 or 4 days to figure out what his flavor should be like. I know
Right.
that at a 65 bricks concentration, a juice is going to take at least a gallon and a half to make a good tasting anything in a certain size batch. You know what I mean? So
Right.
you kind of know
Right.
what your starting points are, and that makes it easier to
You've
to
put
whip
in the
it out
groundwork.
pretty
Oh
quick.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
accidentally. I mean, I wasn't intending to do this at all, but
Yeah.
now, if you give me an extract or a juice from a company that we already work with, I know how much of
Yeah.
it within a little bit of
That's awesome.
error.
Dude.
Yeah,
That's
and then we
awesome.
just play. After that,
And
it's
then we
pretty
just
much
play.
just
So
play.
what other playful things did you make?
So, do you want to try more of the Yo's, or do you want to
Dude,
move on to
that
something
was
else?
a banger. I want
Let's
to try all of it.
We'll go ahead. Maybe now's a good time to talk
Simmer
about
down.
Night Moves Fest.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So, Night Moves Fest is, I don't know when this episode comes out.
This will come out Monday.
So you
Well,
just
we
missed
had a-
Night
we
Moves
had a
Fest.
great time.
We had
Yeah,
an
it was awesome,
time.
dude.
We sold so much seltzer.
Dude, we even came back with cups.
yeah,
Yeah.
they got
got
It
cups
was a
from
good
it.
time, dude.
It was sick.
So we'll start with grapefruit or lime. Grapefruit it is.
Grapefruit is. I do want to say for anybody who is interested in what we're talking about and trying to find yo, it's hard to spell.
So just to clarify,
Yeah.
it's a Vietnamese word that means one, and it's the first word in there.
I was wrong about that.
It is cheers, right?
Yes, because the
I
count.
was right.
Yeah.
He was wrong, and I was already correcting myself.
I learned I was wrong because it says it on the bottle.
Oh God. So anyway, it's part of their cheers or salute or whatever you would say in
Yeah.
other countries. It's spelled D-O with a hat on the O. I don't know what that character
Yeah,
is called.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pointy
Yeah,
hat.
I saw that in
it's-
the label.
Looks like dough, but it's pronounced yo. And that's part of their
Okay.
way of saying, their traditional way of saying cheers.
So
Cups,
where
cups,
can you
cups.
find it? I mean,
Nowhere yet.
nowhere yet. Okay.
So, like I was saying earlier, the biggest issue we're having is distributors don't want to work with tiny or new companies because they're unproven and they just want to make money no matter what. And there are a few local options that we're working with. I got a call in with a local distributor who does kind of the same distribution area that Big Jerk does.
Okay.
And so we're going to try to work some out with them, but a lot of it's going to end up being
oh my gosh.
direct to customer sales.
That is so subtle. It's like
5.5%
Right there.
alcohol.
5.5%.
Just a hint of grapefruit.
yeah,
It's
The
our
grapefruit
vodka that
is-
we make in house.
it sits right on
The
the
grapefruit is so good.
Top. Yeah,
It's like not too grapefruity and like bitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's enough kind of sweetness in it that it's not. And I think a lot of
got a
that.
fragrance to it.
Yeah.
A lot of those extracts are mostly aromatic with a little bit of flavor. And that's the extract we use for our regular grapefruit. So again,
You're in the same realm.
There's no formulation for something like that. It's like, I know how to make the grapefruit seltzer. All I've got to do is do the math on how much booze to add to it.
Yeah.
And
basically the way he's always done is, I'm going to say stuff for Ryan.
yeah, so, I've been talking
basically
too much
the way he's always done his sodas as cocktails is you drink to the bottom of the neck. You drink to the bottom of the neck, and then you fill it back up with your spirit of choice.
And that's how you make a perfect
cocktail,
5-6% cocktail. And so we're basically doing that, but just in a 73-gallon tank.
Yeah, you're doing it before instead
of just a single bottle. So, and there's lots of learning curve on certain things, but it's just mixing liquids together on some level.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff you're going to be able to find through us. Under our license, we're allowed to sell direct to consumer in some very specific ways.
Okay.
And we're going to go out of our way to make sure that we can, do those ways. So we're gonna probably start setting up our own farmers markets where we can sell direct to consumer, and we'll have any of our co-pack clients who want to be involved and have their products sold there, we'll be able to.
Anything we make in-house, we can sell direct
ours.
at certain types of festivals and events, basically.
That's actually how we're at Night Moves, under that license.
So all of this will be available at Night Moves?
No.
No, we're trying to zero in, because Night Moves is kind of like our launch party in a way. It's how we're finally just getting our social media together and letting people know that we're here and what we're doing.
Right.
And so the point, we just figured keep it simple, so that seltzer, that grapefruit, and then the lime that we'll have next are the two options that we're going to have at Night Moves. And we'll be set up right by the Handlebars bar.
We won't have any of our actual spirits there because Tito's is a named sponsor on the Night Moves Fest. So we didn't really get into it. I just made an assumption that probably was...
Yeah, and we don't have bottles and labels yet. I mean, it was just easier to this is something, like I said, I knew how to make the seltzer and I know how to add the booze to it. So it was an easy option. So we borrowed some kegs from Doc's Hop Shop
So
downtown.
just on tap.
And we'll bring our kegerator. And
That's what I was wondering.
That's what the cups are for, yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Do they get free refills? What's up?
I think we'll probably do a discount on a refill, something like that, yeah.
That's nice.
So is the
Just to keep
plan
people
to
from
that
throwing
was
the cups away.
Yeah.
that was kind of my next question is the plan down the road to sell spirits by themselves, like just vodka or whatever you're kind of working on?
Currently we're doing 4 vodkas. We're doing a 100 proof vodka, traditional vodka, and then we're doing 3 peppered vodkas.
Oh, gotcha.
So like
Different
one is,
Scoville levels.
yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how we're going to label them. We're going to use the Scoville chart. Are you guys familiar with that? Yeah. So we're going to use that.
6 million on it.
Yeah, we got a little baby.
Oh,
if anybody ever
yeah,
wants to
here,
get
little
tested.
nitro.
Oh my god, dude.
His buddy ate one, and literally we had to
was-
end the podcast like 2 minutes later. He was throwing up and shitting all in our bathroom.
At the same time.
Like everywhere.
Yeah, no, it was
It
aggressive.
sounded like he was going to die.
I really wish we had the hot stuff, because what we did was we had the company that supplies some of our booze has little extracts that they send samples of, and so one of them is Serrano, and so we were trying that, and then it was like, well, I've got all these dried peppers. I grew peppers a few years ago, and I grew them over the course of 3 years. I kept them alive for 3 seasons, and they cross-pollinated and became
just different.
their
Some
own
shit.
weird peppers.
Yeah.
Super pepper.
Big jerk
Super
peppers.
But I
Super
couldn't.
pepper.
You have to grow them from seed to be able to call them your own variety of pepper, and I couldn't get any of them to sprout because genetically that's just how it works, I guess.
Yeah.
But I had a bunch of them dried in a jar that had just been sitting there for a year, and I brought them over to the shop, and we used an immersion circulator like that you would sous vide a steak in or whatever, and we put jars with peppers in them and alcohol and sealed them up tight, put them in the hot water bath, and let them go for 4 hours, and it fully infuses the flavor.
Takes all the oils out of the pepper. And
Yeah.
So we had several different ones, but one had 10 of these. Like, it was a blend of Reaper, Scorpion, Habanero, and Ghost.
So you don't want anybody to drink it.
Well, not this stuff. This stuff is the extract, right? So you make this consistent extract,
okay.
and then you put a tablespoon of it into
Gotcha,
a bottle
gotcha.
to give it, or 2 if you want it a little hotter. You know, you can kind of play with the heat level that way. But it's
That's the concentrate of the.
Yes.
That's the. Yeah.
So apparently I accidentally made a couple of concentrates, because even one of those peppers is enough to really mess with you on 16 ounces of booze. You know, it's very hot. But so I get the hiccups every time I drink them. They're super fiery, but that extract specifically is just like, next level.
How much did you end up having after all is said and done with like liquid wise for the extract?
16-ounce mason jar, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it takes 3 tablespoons to make our hottest variety of vodka of that. It mixed into the whole 750, and that's the hottest we want.
That's crazy.
That's still hot.
I used to make wings, and we used to have to do dabbers.
Yeah.
In like, I don't know sizing of things, but like in a container like this big, full of sauce.
Yeah.
You'd only do a couple drops.
Yeah.
You're insane.
Those are like capsaicin extracts. That's beyond what I'm doing. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still
it's way
hot.
hotter than what I'm doing. But this is something you could drink, but you're gonna hiccup. I hiccup every time now for some reason.
The concentrate is not something that most people can drink.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we have, and we've kind of peer pressured some of our friends into trying it.
Yeah, you're like, yo, do this, you get a free drink.
Yeah. Like we would have brought it here and had you guys try it.
I meant to.
I
just
would've.
ran late and I forgot.
Yeah,
I would've
I
tried
texted
it.
him before we came and I said, hey, don't forget the hot
And I
boys.
said I would never forget the hot
Yeah.
boys. And then I forgot the hot boys.
Does it, now is this hot enough that it'll make your like nose run when you're drinking?
The hottest one is probably like, I don't know how much heat you guys like, but I mean like a good, real good hot wing.
like Nashville hot chicken sandwiches. Awesome.
Yeah, but not the same flavor at all. But yeah, Nashville
like
hot
that
level
kind of heat where you're
maybe
like,
even a little cooler than that.
You think the concentrate is cool?
No. The highest level of the
okay.
bottled one that we're gonna do, I think it's just like in line with like a really good red level on your Buffalo
Yeah.
Wild Wings, chart kind of thing.
And do you guys
Pass
have
on that
names
one.
picked out for these levels yet?
We're still working on the branding and everything for that. We don't really.
We haven't
I'm
done the
so
levels or
stoked to
anything.
see this come out. That's dope.
And that's the thing that's hard because you're looking for a distributor, and how do you pitch? All right, it's so hot it's gonna burn some people to a distributor. Why are they gonna want to take that? Which is why we're trying to figure out the whole creating our own farmers market, getting other local vendors involved, finding a good home for it, and then we can sell to you guys because you're the target market,
Right.
Yeah.
and we don't have to worry about some distributor telling us what will and won't work because I don't really care if it sells 1 million bottles. I just want to make these cool things for people, and I want people to come to us, and frankly for us not to have to give up all our profits to a distributor.
To
So
somebody in the
this
middle.
is a way that we can keep this thing going cash flow wise while we're building it to something bigger than it is.
Yeah, and the way I see those peppered vodkas, they're not really meant to be drank straight, in my opinion.
Cocktail mixers.
Yeah.
For sure.
By design, they're meant to go in a mule, so you can have a really spicy mule
Or a marg.
or a margarita,
If you're
or
not
even
too
make
fancy
a,
about the tequila.
yeah.
I'm
don't
not,
care that it's
I'm
not
not
tequila.
super
Or like a pepper
knowledgeable
bomb.
about drinks, but what is a Bloody Mary?
that
would be
would
good in
work.
that
That would
too.
be
Right?
great.
That would
fine.
be
Yeah.
right up that
Perfect in
alley.
that.
I prefer my Bloody Marys with tequila also, but
I prefer my Bloody Mary spicy. I don't care what the booze are. So
Yeah, right.
that's a good
Well,
point. I hadn't even
You're
thought
the
of that.
demographic we're going for.
I'm the demographic I'm going for.
Yeah.
We're just making stuff
You're
for
like,
ourselves.
I'm not
demographic
making this
I'm
for
going
me
for.
at all.
well,
Yeah.
the way I kind of presented the idea to him was I had a Reaper Pepper vodka from,
Thank you.
I might have this wrong, but I think it was St. Charles Distillery in South
So
Carolina.
fragrant.
And that thing made the best martinis, dirty vodka
Oh,
martini
yeah.
with
Ooh,
olive,
that's
on
another
it,
good
with
move,
spicy.
too.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they discontinued it, which opened up the market for us to
Yeah.
take the spot because
And
there
we-
aren't many.
One of the cheers.
This
boys.
is my number 2 so far.
This
All right.
That yuzu for sure. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Yuzu?
Yuzu.
That one for sure. It's just so. I mean, they're all really good, but it's like they're so refreshing. But that is for sure my favorite.
Well,
flavor.
and the yuzu is kind of the in terms of sweetness is the driest one of the 4 up there, and so the next few have a little bit more sugar than that one does. So you kind of ramp up the flavor bomb because they're not really a seltzer. They're like a fruited seltzer or something. I don't know what you would call them because they're real fruit juice and a little bit of sugar,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
enough to amplify the fruit. So they're kind of unique.
We
There's not really a place in the market
it's a
for
light
exactly what it is.
cocktail.
Light
Yeah,
cocktail.
it is. There isn't really. So like our seltzers at 5.5%, you can
Yeah.
compare them to all the normal mainstream, at least vodka seltzers, where you get a little bit cleaner taste. So they're all going to be right around 100 calories, 5.5% alcohol.
No carbs.
No carbs, those things. The yo drinks and some of our other cocktails, they don't really fit that. They have the added sugar.
A little pasta
Yeah,
seltzer.
they're a little
So-
more
yeah.
full bodied.
So you
This
guys are
is the-
still so new in this, but are you guys having any pushback with any type of other drink companies where they're like, yo, you got to get through us to be able to do anything locally.
That's the TTB.
The government.
That's the government.
That's who you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
And yes,
They were
every
talking
step
shit
of the
for
way.
8 months.
Yeah. I mean, these labels
Oh God, the labels.
have gone through 3 revisions, 4 revisions. They had to be fixed, and this word has to be slightly different, and this thing has to be slightly more towards the
And
center.
To
It's all kinds
fit
of
their
stuff.
criteria of
The
a,
insane thing that because there's all these rules.
Yeah.
It's called COLA, certification of label. You have to do it for every single label. Like all of those labels right there all had to go through COLA. That's why they're all similar
Wait,
in
so-
what is on there.
does
How
each
they form
flavor have to go
Yeah,
through?
Every single label of any
Yeah.
kind that we do has to go through
Holy
cola.
And the
shit.
kicker
Has to go through
is-
formulation as
Could
well.
they deny one that looks just like the other?
Yes.
What?
It's
That's
happened
the
twice
kicker.
already.
That's exactly
So you're like,
what
yo,
I
I
was gonna
figured out the formula. This is gonna
It's
go
like they've
through,
got
and
a
they're
team
like,
of-
actually, no.
It's like they got a team of contractors working on it, and it gets sent. Your stuff just randomly goes to whoever it goes to.
Yeah.
And so one contractor will go, "Yeah, it's fine,"
You're good.
and the next will go, "You're an idiot. Here's all the dumb stuff you did.
Right. I
Do it
submitted
again.
all 4 of those.
Hit you on the knuckles."
I submitted all 4 of those at the same time for approval, and they came back with different corrections on each label, despite the fact that all of those labels are identical outside of color and whatever type of fruit is on it.
Right. The formatting is exactly the same.
So
on ours.
when you were going to fix it, were you trying to do all of those
Yeah,
fixes
'cause
that
it was-
each label?
Right.
Was it at least
Wow.
a
They
somewhat
they have
quick
to be uniform,
response?
so
The response got quicker on the subsequent
Well,
revisions, but the first approval or disapproval takes a week or two.
yeah, it takes a minute.
And maybe it's like 4 or 5 days on the revisions and stuff, just depending, because you've already been assigned to somebody, it's going right back to them, that kind of thing.
So when you're at the point where you're making the label and you're doing these revisions and whatnot, how close are you to actually putting the product on a shelf?
This product was made in bottle and on a pallet for 3 weeks before the labels got approved, and we got them ordered and we got them into the building. So we had to fill without labeling, which is a real pain in the ass because it's way harder to label these full than it is to label them empty.
Yeah.
So it took one of our guys, Chris, it took him a week in the little bit of time that he had every day to go
That's
back
crazy.
and relabel 240 cases.
Yeah.
Your staff is just got to be showing up every day like, what now?
Well, usually I tell them
Government
like,
update.
y'all are
on
cool,
Monday,
but
like you're about to be
government
screwed this way, and that way.
Yeah.
But some days, like today and a little bit of last week, it was super light. We didn't have much going on, so I went in at 3:15 and nobody was there, and they, so
Yeah.
they bail out early when they can, and they stay a little late when they have to, and it all works.
Dude, that is the best lime seltzer or lime sparkling water I've ever had. I mean,
And that's what we want to be.
Yeah.
'Cause
Dude,
that's what I was
that
saying.
is-
Like compare that to White
can't be the
Claw.
best price.
Yeah, he's
probably
like me.
shouldn't
It's
say
top
stuff like
tier.
that.
I don't drink, but he's let me try some stuff where I'm like, dude, that's
That's
aspirin
top
in a
tier.
can. What are
Yeah.
you drinking?
that's
really
top
rough.
tier.
It's rough.
Yeah. I mean,
And that for me, it's like, okay, part of the problem is a lot of those seltzers are made from a brewed base. They're made in like a brewery setting, not a distillery setting. So somebody who makes beer is brewing a base that is
Sugar.
from sugar and malts and other things or
Right.
whatever, however they do it.
it still has that.
And it still has that brewed taste. And when you it's just so easy to make them with vodka and to make them taste better. And so that's what we decided, was going to be our focus, was just like, yeah, we can't be the best price.
That's another fun note that actually happened in Cola. If you read on the front of the yo, it says premium vodka. We decided kind of early in our path that we weren't going to try to blow smoke up people's asses about vodka. Maybe I should just mention some of that stuff.
I think we should. For us, I'll let Luke talk about it, but there's this whole thing where we want to be really open and honest about what exactly we're doing. We're not trying to act like we've got some $1 million still or anything like that. What we are doing is what a lot of people do, and that is...
Yeah, so every vodka you've ever had starts out as what's called neutral grain spirit. And most of the time, the companies that make the vodka get their neutral grain spirit from somewhere else, like an ethanol company, because it is neutral grain spirit is distilled to as high of a proof as it can be and still be liquid. So ours is 192 proof. Vodka, by definition, by legal definition, vodka has to go from that unpalatable, it evaporates as soon as it touches the air. It starts evaporating at like 70 degrees. So by the time it gets to your mouth, I'm talking about Everclear. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's that type of thing.
Yeah.
The Alabama Everclear.
Moonshine.
Yeah.
But White Dog. So it evaporates as soon as it gets up to your mouth. You can't drink that. So you have to dilute it down. Every vodka ever is initially Everclear, and then dilute it down to a palatable at least 80 proof. Which is
And then they've got
40%.
additives like glycerin and citric acid and sugar that you can add to a vodka to make it different.
Right. But they're basically all the same. You can start with different cereals, like different grains. Ours is 100% corn, just because that's what we wanted. And
we tasted a lot of samples, and this was the one we bought was I think it was the highest one, highest end one that the company we bought from.
Ours isn't organic. We can't say it's organic, but otherwise it's as good.
Even if we brought in organic booze, we can't put organic on our label without a huge organic designation, which takes hundreds of thousands of dollars. So
how different is that really? I heard somewhere you're just paying.
Yeah. I mean,
you're basically just paying for the license to be.
So the vodka. What the point I'm trying to make here is that early in this, I was doing research on all this sort of stuff. And the thing that stuck out to me the most was, what is the difference? I'm going to ask you guys. I want answers. I want answers.
Answers. What's in the box?
What is the difference between a pretty good vodka and a top shelf premium vodka?
This is a great question.
Dude, I have no. I don't drink.
Premium in the label.
It's branding.
That's it.
Marketing.
That's all it
Marketing.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
It's the same fucking thing.
It's all the same stuff.
It's the same thing.
So we take great care with our product. We chose a good base spirit. We filter it. Ryan likes to say we filter it enough.
Because that's one of the
that's the
big
big thing.
The
Is
label says
distilling.
5
Is how many times it's distilled.
Well, and that's part of it, but how many times it's filtered is also part of it. And every vodka label you go pull up is going to say filtered 5 times, distilled 5 times, and it's like, it's a marketing point. Who cares? 100%. We filtered enough, but we did filter it 5 times.
Yeah,
right. You got to throw it in.
But we actually did.
But the thing is that I'm saying, originally on this label, whenever I submitted it to Cola, that's all it said. It said 5 times filtered vodka with whatever fruit. They sent that back and said that needs to say premium.
Yeah, so they told us we're premium vodka based on our processes.
The federal government told us that we're
What is
premium
TTB?
Daddy government?
It used to be ATF. It's the taxation board.
It's what breweries go through to get. It's what anybody who creates alcohol has to go through.
Yeah, TTB is federal and ABT is state, but they're basically just taxation boards.
So Daddy government told us we were premium, so we are.
So now we just, it's kind of a joke to us.
Yeah.
But the point is, there's.
Hey, thanks for that free one.
Right. There's so much sort of, like we said, marketing and branding about this is the top shelf whatever, and it's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and we want to create those same quality of spirits with a local flair, and not bullshit you and not sell it to you for $45 a bottle. You know what I mean? Our primary goal when creating straight spirits is, let's get that premium product in a bottle and a nice package with a nice label, but let's charge those lower shelf prices for it. We want to be the drinkable daily drinker that really is high quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At an affordable price point.
The thing that you were saying earlier about the how many times something's been distilled, the science behind that is how many plates there are in their still.
Yeah.
So it only goes to distill once.
Right, but there's 12 plates.
One time.
Yeah.
Right.
But it stops at each.
Yeah, there's a pretty popular Texas vodka brand who is distilled 10 times. No, the other one.
Oh, I don't know who the other one
is. But I'm pretty sure that the whole reason that they do that is to bark up Tito's.
Right.
Because Tito's is trying to say, oh, man, I don't want to get sued.
Well, Tito's is the same. It's the same as what we're doing to a level. To a
you
degree.
Heard.
So I heard through the grapevine.
Yeah.
I heard through the grapevine that Tito's does the exact same shit that we're doing, but they want to keep the name that they made for themselves in the 90s when the dude actually his real name is Tito, when he actually was hand making and hand distilling all this stuff and using like basically a whiskey still to be able to create vodka, and that takes a lot of work because those aren't that type still isn't designed to distill to the level that this stuff has to be distilled to before you then dilute it down. Now they still run through that still after they do it.
That's how they can put.
Yeah. So it's not. They're literally running it through a still that cannot distill even as distilled as the spirit already is.
Right.
Like it literally.
It's already at
can't
192
do
or
it.
196 or whatever.
it's
It can't
not
get any
doing
higher.
anything.
Yeah.
Dude, I there's a group that I follow on YouTube called Whiskey Tribe, and they're a small distillery in Texas that they started a bar and started distilling on their own, and they're starting to build kind of a reputation. But they kind of talk about the behind the scenes of working with the government and all the hoops that you have to jump through and all the things that are required to call this a bourbon or call this a sour, all this different kind of shit, right? Where you wouldn't even think about it as a consumer. You don't understand the whole, like, when you look at a bottle, the 4 different things that are on there, you're like, oh, that makes it so much better. But it's just because it's
required by law
right,
to become a bourbon. You have to do this thing, yeah.
So it's like, it's shit like that where you're like, oh, fuck, now I get it. It's just all bullshit.
Just turning the rules into your marketing.
Right.
I'm gonna break all the gin hearts.
Oh,
Okay.
here
I
we
don't
go.
know if they're ready.
This is
go.
maybe my favorite one.
We got a lot of those.
So you probably have met people who won't drink vodka because they're gin people. They'll turn their nose up at vodka. They only drink gin. Mm-hmm. Do you know what a gin is?
It's vodka with shit with
vodka
with juniper berries.
Yeah.
Literally the
shit in
only
it.
thing that makes gin is that it's got juniper in it. It's vodka with juniper in it. And then everybody adds their own other,
Right.
whatevers.
But it's all the same process. It's the same.
For the most part, I'm
process.
sure there's
Yeah.
gin companies out there that are like distilling off of berries and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Right,
So
But
there's
right.
cold compound, there's distilled, there's redistilled, there's all sorts of different
Yeah.
ways to
Lots of
actually make
designations.
gin. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's vodka with juniper in it, and then whatever
It's
else.
the
they
same
wanna put in.
spirit.
That's
yeah.
it.
That's crazy.
You guys want to keep drinking?
Shit, yeah.
These little
It's about the
sips.
goods.
So you guys are obviously educated when it comes to alcohol.
We're learning
So
as we go.
how did Margaritaville hit you? R.I.P.
What do you mean? Oh,
I
Buffett?
didn't care at all.
Oh, okay.
Buffett-y.
I didn't know
feelings.
how huge he was in the community. I just know he has that hotel here, and
We actually
Jimmy Buffett
formulated
was-
some products, test products with his tequila.
Oh, I didn't
Margaritaville
think of that.
tequila, yeah.
We actually did use Margaritaville tequila at one point, real early.
Because it was one of the companies we were potentially working with was trying to bring in tequila, and they're like, they told us at the distillery that it's Margaritaville. Margaritaville did exactly
Which
what
one
we're
is
talking
this?
about. This is the Mandarin. Margaritaville tequila does the exact same thing we're talking about here. They buy bulk
delicious.
spirits from somebody, and they just put it in their bottle.
And they
And
slap
so
their label.
they
Yeah.
said, if you want to try our tequila, we don't have any samples right now, but just go buy Margaritaville at the liquor store. It's our tequila.
Really?
Yeah. And so that's how we
Okay.
formulated for them, because
Okay.
it was the right tequila that we were going to buy.
And we
Right.
were at the time. We probably shouldn't say formulating. We were playing at the time because we
didn't have a license.
Yeah, we didn't have a license, so we couldn't bring stuff in. Transfer and bond is what
Mm-hmm.
it's called. We couldn't bring in bulk at that time, so we just
So when
stuff.
you're not quite on the level where you can do that, are you allowed to do stuff like this at home just to test flavors?
in Florida you're not allowed
personally,
to distill anything, but beyond that, I mean, if you go buy a bottle, you're just making a cocktail. That's totally fine.
Yeah, with most anything, once you buy it, you can do whatever you want with it within whatever the confines of the law are. So, for instance, if you had a kegerator and a keg and you wanted to bring in some vodka and carbonate some water and make your own hard seltzer, I used to do that all the time before we started Big Jerk. I called it liquor water, and I'd make liquor water on nights. I worked for my parents' wedding rentals company.
Liquor water.
And we had the Navy Ball was one of their big gigs every year, and which meant we were washing dishes in the dish room until 4 a.m.
Right.
Because stuff was coming back, hundreds of plates and cups and stuff at a time. And so we would just sit in there with the music on, and I'd have the keg and the kegerator of the booze water out there. And man,
Liquor water.
I feel bad for the little PCC kid that was working for us that never drank that day.
I just imagine their environment is like Bear, but like beverage making.
What? Bear what?
The Bear.
Bear on Hulu.
No.
We're like, get the fucking bottle.
Chef. He is.
I behave that way sometimes,
He's the only one,
but only when I'm having a rough
Yeah.
week or month. But no, it's not that intense. I do love that show. I never got to that level of kitchen stuff, but I was in a kitchen that felt similar in a lot of ways in Atlanta. And man, you hate it when you're in it, know.
Yeah.
But man, sometimes I think about it with great nostalgia, and I remember, what I learned and how I grew in that environment. If you can tough it out, it's hard nowadays. I don't even know what a kitchen looks like anymore. With everything being how it is, for good or for bad. I mean,
Have you guys ever played the game Overcooked?
I can't play this
Is that
game.
like Kitchen Mama?
I don't know what Kitchen Mama is, but so Overcooked is like it's a multiplayer game where you can either compete against each other or be on teams. It costs like $1 on PlayStation or something. It's a
Oh, I thought you meant like this was in real life. Like you're like
oh no,
not
no,
a video
it's
game.
It's
you eat a bunch of mushrooms and you go to your kitchen.
It's the only video game I play. I'm not a video game player, but this one it's as close to like kitchen science as you can be. Like they call tickets and you have to make to order and rush around from station, economy of motion.
Cool. These guys are asking me if I want to play it. I'm like, fuck no, I got out of
that
that
shit
game.
for way too long,
The most stressful thing. But
Bro.
whenever you get a couple of people who have worked kitchens playing that, especially against other people who haven't, like
Domination.
It's a game changer.
You can absolutely.
It's one of those things, man.
It's insane.
That'd
It's
be a
like, I
sick
did it-
tournament style game.
Yeah.
I mean,
See who
it is.
can
Like a
last the
fantasy
longest.
league of it.
You
Yeah.
guys are kitchen dudes. I want you to play it. I want you to.
Yeah.
I was only ever in a wing kitchen once.
Well, that's still a kitchen.
for like 3 weeks.
I started at Outback's frying wings. That was my
Yeah.
first job.
It is one of those things where I look back at it and I'm like, you know, during like in that stint, it was like, yeah, that shit sucked sometimes. But looking back on it, I wouldn't change it at all because it's like I learned
miss
so
it
much
tremendously.
in that 6 years of like, you know, getting yelled at and
I had a
figuring shit
couple
out.
that I wouldn't go back to.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
the most part.
Right.
The good ones, the ones that even though the chef, or in my case, I had 3 different chefs in the time that I was there, but all the chefs had their shittiness and not, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, just like we all do. I mean, they're just
Right.
people, but man, it was every day was worth it. I felt like I don't know what was so special about that place, and it's not even the same place anymore. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. That was the one in Atlanta.
Yeah, It used to be Mac McGee in Decatur Square,
Okay.
which was just an Irish pub that I used to go to every Friday after school.
sick.
And they had, I wanted to learn about Scotch, and they had Scotch flights every Friday. It was like Old Hickory,
Oh, nice.
but
okay.
with just Scotch and
Yeah.
food, Irish food.
Fuck yeah.
And so I would go there and get 4 shots of nice Scotch, talk to the bartenders. They all knew me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then one night I was like, I'll stay a little bit late. I'll have a couple Guinness. They gave me a free Guinness, and I got some French fries, and I got real
like,
drunk.
yeah.
I got real drunk. And I was like, listen, when I say to you that I want to work here, can I work here, please? And he was like, dude, Ryan, go talk to that guy down there. He's the chef or whatever. And so I talked to it was the sous chef. I talked to him for a few minutes, and I was like, I went home later that evening, and I'm sure I was like, what a fucking idiot.
What
you
did I
are.
do?
What did I do? And I got a phone call from the chef the next day, and he asked me to come down, and we talked for a little bit, and he let me come work there.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
And
That's really
it was the most elevated food I ever worked with. Even though it was Irish fare, it was like this cool elevated Irish
kind of
thing.
upscaled in a way.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the mashed potatoes that we made there were like French, like kind of pomme puree kind of
Yeah,
vibes, you know?
that's awesome.
And I don't make any other mashed potatoes now.
Yeah.
I learned how to braise properly there. I learned how to, all these different things. I mean, it was just
That's
such a
cool.
cool experience.
Yeah.
Pork belly is now on the menu at my house because of that place.
Yeah.
So,
That's super cool. That's really, really great.
yep.
Yeah. Learning that kind of stuff, man. Like French technique and stuff like that. And, you know, Frank was kind of influenced in some of that, but he's also kind of that raw dog, just like
Sure.
OG, just figure it the fuck out and we're going to get it done type thing.
And these chefs were pirates, but they
Yeah.
were also Le Cordon Bleu and CIA. They'd been trained. So,
Yeah.
you know, they had opium addictions, and they were really good with
But
a fucking
they-
knife.
yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like
But they
it was
could
the Anthony
moonwall like a
Bourdain
motherfucker. Yeah.
What's that tournade? Is that what that spoon technique is called, where you scoop the ice cream and it's like a little
Oh,
football
it's
shape
a
or whatever?
fucking-
I hate that. Is it
Yeah.
not tournade?
No, it's
I don't
not
remember.
Tornado.
Oh, Quinnell.
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 That's what
there
it is. Yeah.
But yeah, I still can't do that shit. But I know
Yeah.
how to cut herbs because of those guys, because they
Yeah.
kept making me throw them away and do it again.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I miss that. And I get to use those experiences and learning about flavor and how to treat ingredients in what we do now. It's you know, I probably talked about it on the last thing about Big Jerk, but everything I've ever done is a part of what's happening now here in Pensacola with what we're doing. Because every little life experience, whether it was an office job or a kitchen job or whatever, I've been able to glean something out of it. Like it was there for a reason. It's all it's little
It's connecting the dots.
frou-frou
Yeah.
in some ways. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I mean, it's cool to feel like you'd actually know a little bit of something. I don't think I know a lot of something, but I know a little bit. Enough
Hey,
to
dude. That's all
Y'all
that
are
counts,
crushing
bro.
it, dude.
put some stuff in bottles.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
So.
Is there any future in any other spirits, or is vodka like?
So we've got 3 different gins that I also intended to bring tonight
Okay.
and forgot because I was late. But so me, Mike, and Luke. Mike's our production manager.
Okay.
Me, Mike, and Luke all had all the ingredients for gin and a little bit of 100 proof vodka that we had made. And so we all just kind of picked our poison with, like, what do you want in there? I kind of went, like, everything bagel. Like, all the different traditional things you'd see in a gin. Caraway and juniper and peppercorn and all orange peel and all these things that I thought would be really good. And I really like mine. I don't like gin, but I can sip on what I made.
Right.
But these guys are correct in saying it's not a very good gin because I don't like gin. But then Luke made probably the best gin, and his was kind of peppercorn heavy, so it was a little spicy. It was very neat,
which fits our brand for that. Yeah,
heated things. And then Mike also made one that was really good. His is probably the Goldilocks, like the just right.
It's like the most gin type thing. Okay,
and then so where we are right now, our location right now, our facility just doesn't lend itself to actual distilling well. So we're not doing that there, but we will. Like we
don't want to call ourselves distillers because we're not distilling anything. We're a distilled spirits plant.
When we talk to people, we're a distilled spirits plant. We are super honest about that.
Yeah.
We will be distillers, like that's going to happen, but not
someday when we grow up.
Yeah, we got to grow up a little bit. Them things are expensive.
Stills, a real still's like $1 million minimum.
Dude, we went to New Orleans to
Sazerac House.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
it's insane the kind of stuff they have in there.
Yeah,
they're classic.
And that was probably just for show. Like, I don't think that's obviously the main place, but like it was just like some of the old ones they had in there was just like
to show what the actual process is like, which is really cool.
Yeah, but I don't even daydream about a still yet because it's so far beyond our capabilities. We're probably going to buy like a little still,
just like
just a pot still that we can. For instance, we're talking about making our own gin. Well, when you put these berries and these peppercorns and stuff up in there in the bottles, it turns it all brown. I don't necessarily have a problem with a golden colored gin, but it's not the norm that you see on shelves. And so we're talking about making distillates with a small still where we take some of our vodka and we distill it with the juniper berries in there. And then what comes out on the other side is that juniper flavored vodka, kind of like our extracts we were talking about earlier with the peppers. It's the same kind of thing comes out on the other side, super strong. And then you use that to create your gin. So we'll probably be doing something more like that before we're distilling full batches.
That's called a compound gin.
Right.
We will be compounders initially.
Compound it, bruh.
Yeah. What was the first thing you guys played with when it came to alcohol making, I guess?
You mean
at all
legally?
ever?
Oh.
Like in your life.
I used to brew beer. That's the first alcohol.
Yeah.
Steal Jose Cuervo Gold Mini bottles out of my parents' freezer in 6th grade.
Nice.
I drank some port wine at a people's house I was dog sitting for in 6th grade. So that's it. But no, the first I started homebrewing, which I didn't know at the time, but I would invite friends over to watch me homebrew, and I had learned from one of my professors in Atlanta, and I started inviting my friends over to hang with me because it's a long, boring process. And a lot of those people became really good brewers. And Mike Newman is our production manager. He started brewing after brewing with me, and he makes better beer than any home brewer I know. And so now I've got him on the team. You know what I mean? So kind of a full circle thing. But with this project, the first thing we did was, because we were working with Assassinato, there was kind of this natural, well, if you're going to start a distillery, why don't we start talking about a ready-to-drink Assassinato tequila kind of vibe thing? Yeah. So we're still working to try to find the right fit with them. Tequila's on a 6-month back order right now. So we can't really do anything about that. But we're still prototyping similar things to what we've had here tonight, but with different flavors. Like we got a pina colada tequila seltzer. No sugar, 100 calories, same thing. But it's got serious pina colada vibes.
Dude, I thought it was going to be terrible.
Oh, I 100% made it
thinking, that sounds bad to me.
Yeah, it doesn't add up. The math doesn't math.
Pina colada flavored tequila seltzer, no sugar. You know what I mean? Like it's
booze, water, and flavor.
It sounds like a Mad Lib.
Yeah.
Somebody just an alcohol Mad Lib.
It was, and it was good.
But it was really good. It was really good.
That's awesome.
We had a bunch of sample bottles from that test run, and they're not here anymore.
Yeah,
they're gone.
Yeah.
They,
wonder what happened to those.
Those dudes shopped them all around.
Yeah, they had like Bert Kreischer drinking them and stuff like that. I mean, it was pretty funny. All the people they were able to.
That adds up.
So what is this you're pouring us?
Okay, I'm not going to say too much about this one, except that it's a lemonade, a hard lemonade, made with a local honey company's honey that we're talking with right now. So this is a potential future project that we don't really have the final word on. I think you're getting the heaviest pours.
Whoa. Yeah.
Is we okay?
I'm gonna say some
This
weird
is going
things right now.
harder than
Say it all.
lemonade.
The aroma of this makes me horny.
This is like mead forward.
Gets that
almost,
stinger going?
but not as.
I don't know what it is about. It's kind of got that like honeysuckle smell.
It's the
to
honey.
it.
Take a sip because the honey in this changes the hard lemonade game, in my opinion. That's a different kind of world.
Gangster.
Isn't that
That's
amazing?
Gangster.
Yeah.
That just overtook
It's
Uzu like
straight-
by a
Oh, yeah.
lot.
We're real excited.
That's
Now, I will say-
insane.
That's straight gangster.
This is not 100 calories.
yes. This
I was
is
trying to
full-
say, I don't know about this
This is
one.
a
Full hardcore, you need some sugar.
Yeah.
Because the honey, is just super high quality local and regional honey.
This tastes like you said it was good for our heart.
So
Honey's good for you, I
to
guess.
me, it tastes like a hot toddy.
That's what I was about. Yeah.
But
it's cold.
It
When we
does
make 'em,
kinda
they're
do
hot.
that.
Yeah.
And then we put them in a tank to chill them down. And so coming out of the thing where we're sampling it to make sure it tasted all right.
You emptied
And-
the whole bottle?
Yeah, I got another one.
Oh
Though.
my gosh.
I will be. This
I got a double of everything for you
guys.
guys to keep here after
This-
the show.
Yeah, I feel like this is like
I'll
a
fight you
warm,
for that bottle.
like
We'll go a
warm
full 5-minute round.
with even like some cinnamon or like even a little bit of ginger too.
Yeah. And this is also
That's
5.5%.
delicious.
Do you even taste the booze in there? I don't.
no.
and that's a problem. That's the thing.
Can be.
That's a good question. You guys coming into this, can you think of anything that you drank tonight where you could taste the booze?
I think the seltzers I can taste the most in.
I think they're a little bit more forward in that, but not even like to a point where you would drink it and be like, "Oh, that's a."
Yeah.
I'll
you know,
tell
if
you
you're
from
drinking
somebody
it,
that
you
doesn't
can-
drink though. Like he drinks, not that he drinks a lot or anything, but he has more history.
A problem.
We need to talk.
Okay,
That's
let's
actually,
talk-
that's actually why we're here.
Welcome to your intervention.
Yeah, this is the last bit you get to have.
Oh, good.
But no, I couldn't really tell. Like, it tastes better than the alcohol that is
Yeah.
supposedly similar. You know, like
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's no.
Yeah.
So again,
booze
think
in
about
it.
the hard lemonade world. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're just trying to
that
make
one's
stuff that tastes good,
unbelievable.
man.
Yeah, just make
And
it.
I don't know why it's so hard, but I do know why it's so hard. It's because every penny counts at high volumes. And so if you can buy cane sugar cheaper than you can buy honey, of course you're going to buy cane sugar. But the unique position that we're in is working with directly with a honey company. You know what I mean? They don't have to pay for the honey. They own the honey already.
Right.
So to them, it's a lot cheaper than if you and I went and bought gallon jugs at the grocery store.
Right.
even.
yeah,
And they're not just a local honey company. Like, this is local honey.
yeah,
It's
Right.
actual local honey.
yeah. I could see how you could get that mixed up.
Yeah.
So, is there a name to that?
Nathan is currently working on branding and design for this new product line. So I'm not sure if I should mention the honey.
We might have to
company,
call dibs on like a 12-pack of that or something, or
but I think
however
I got
it's gonna
10
be.
left at the bottle at the
I
company.
feel like you could. Maybe a soft one.
Okay.
Drop some
If we don't
hints.
want to, if it's
It's-
gonna put you. In a
I already
position,
did. I thought
you're good.
local honey company was
Maybe-
enough that you know
maybe,
exactly who the fuck I'm
it's
talking about.
It's named after a part of town.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
named after
I
a
got
neighborhood.
You. I got you. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
got
don't know
you.
that
I'll-
many.
it's
okay.
okay.
I was like,
I'll tell you after
we'll
the
figure it
show.
out.
I'm just not going to do it on the show.
Yeah.
But everybody knows now because that was a really deep hint. But
Dude,
yeah,
you know what
so,
would be super good on that? A spicy version of that.
ooh, that's a good point,
Bro.
That's a good point. And then they're also doing some honey sweetened teas. Hard and we're doing hard and NA versions of all of these things.
Yeah, that thing will have an NA version also.
So no booze in it. But
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So yeah,
That, yeah.
That might be your cornerstone product right there.
that's going to be one of our next ones. And he's
That's
already
awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be theirs. Yeah, which good for the goose, good for the gander. If they're selling, we're
Yeah.
we're producing. So
Absolutely.
that's where we make our money with a company like that.
Dude, that's
We're
awesome.
going to try to have them out at some of the markets for sure because they already do it anyway. So
My mouth
we're
is
gonna,
watering.
tag team and do the.
The
So
the
good.
hibiscus tea version of this, also very good. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not dogging it or anything, but for me, for lemonade, I like it a little less sweet than that.
Yeah.
It's sweet. That's what I mean when I say full bodied. Like there's a lot of flavor.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's
I'm not-
definitely
if
heavy.
you're
Like,
like
I'm not sitting there
that
drinking-
one's more.
Yeah, you can't drink
tailored
6
for
of
me.
those. Yeah.
I'm like a 12-year-old. Like I gotta have sweet.
Yeah.
Like I'm very flavorful based person.
Yeah.
That's
That's your jam then.
that's my
it's-
number one.
That thing is perfect. I don't
Awesome.
want to change it at all. It
Yeah.
fits exactly where it is supposed to.
Yeah.
I thought I wanted to change it because when I got the recipe from him, it had honey and cane sugar in it. I was like, oh, that seems like a lot. But no, when you put it all together,
Yeah.
it's the right sweetness level for that lemon juice. And we tweaked their recipe using the ingredients that we're familiar with instead of
Right.
hand juicing lemons because we can't do that on scale with where we're at. You know what I mean? So, but it's pretty true to their original lemonade, which is cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, that one's great. Big fan. Big
Are we running out of time, or we got time to
Oh
fill
no,
these last 2
you're
bottles?
good, bro. Let's
yeah, we're chilling.
let's take them down.
I feel like
Y'all are
I
what,
probably
5 for
messed it
5
up.
so far.
You absolutely messed
I messed it up because I love these, but they're going to be a little bit more.
They are not going to follow that.
They're not going to follow that lemonade very well because that is just such a big sugar bomb. And
Oh,
these are
yeah,
not
yeah.
that
Your
sweet.
palate is totally ruined right now.
Clear your mouth out with some of that A&W.
We are absolutely creating a mess on this table.
That's
Full
okay.
of
Healthy
empty
kind of mess.
bottles.
That's okay.
99 bottles.
All right, so this is the mango, and we have a rule when we're tasting.
Big mango
Everybody
guy.
taste before we comment.
God, all of them smell so fucking good.
Yeah, so we have a rule at the shop when we're all tasting something. We don't. Sorry, when we're all at the shop tasting something, we don't. You don't give away what you feel about something until you're done drinking it because you don't want to influence somebody else's opinion. I love everything we did with this company, mainly because we got him happy with every single flavor. But everybody's going to have a favorite out of a 4-pack, right?
Yeah.
Anytime you pick up a White Claw pack or whatever,
Right.
you're like, give somebody else the green apple. I want the blackberry or whatever it is. And the 2 I saved were kind of my personal lower on my totem pole. But like, for instance, we love that yuzu, right? So far, and the Mandarin was really good.
Right.
I'd probably put this 3rd against those 3.
Okay.
And we have people say the yuzu is 4th, and the mango is
We've
one.
actually had people say that they hate the yuzu, and that
Which
is
we don't
which
talk
is
to those people
insane
Which is
anymore.
crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Well, there was one person, and they didn't say it to us. They said it.
You just stand up
It's
and
just
get
not.
out.
It's
Yeah,
not
I
a
know.
traditional.
Get out now.
You know, it's I think it hits home for people if you've tried yuzu before or you kind of know what it is. You know what I
You
mean?
want to
Like
hear another
I
silly thing about the
love that.
cola thing? They said I couldn't say yuzu lemon.
It's a
like,
citrus. It's not a lemon.
yeah,
it's
you have to say
specifically
yuzu
a
citrus.
lemon, and it's this fucking ridiculous.
That's how silly.
It's like
all that is.
Meyer lemon.
But so this mango, the best
do
way
the
we
same thing.
the way that Tin describes it, who's the owner of the company, is it's an overripe mango, and that's what he likes about it. This very
It does
like
kind of have a
Vietnamese,
almost
like a little funk to it.
funkiness to it
Yeah. So
when you let
Yeah,
it sit
that's-
for a little bit longer.
It tastes like something to me. Like, I don't eat mango a lot, so
It is kind
maybe
of
that's
that,
exactly what mango tastes
Yeah,
like.
it's that like
A-
it's been
a
sitting
mango
a
that's
little bit
super
too
ripe,
long.
yeah.
That's the thing. So we're using real fruit juices here. A lot of the mango flavored stuff it isn't. Like it isn't mango. It's meant to
Right.
taste something like maybe someone might think a mango is supposed to taste like.
Yeah.
But this actually is
Yeah.
mango.
This is delicious.
the first time I had a mango, I was in the West Indies on a missions trip with my church when I was in high school. We were building the church there.
Let's go Jesus champ.
Jeez.
But so these little native kids that lived on the island who we were building the church for would come around and like poke around the church while we were working on it. And the missionary was a bastard. He'd yell at them and stuff. And I'd be like, I don't know, hanging out with them. They're cool little
You're like,
kids.
"You're good."
And they were like, have you ever had a mango? Have you ever had a mango? And I was like, I was a white kid in the 90s. I'd never had a mango. And so these kids are taking rocks and they're pelting them up into a tree, and with one rock, they're pulling down one mango. Every rock gets a mango. They have an arm.
Fucking
They should be playing
dialed.
baseball.
Dialed.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're not supposed to drink the water in countries like that, and you're also not supposed to eat the fruit because it comes from the water. And I learned that the hard way. But
Worth
you
it.
know, this doesn't taste like that mango to me, but it reminds me of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it brings forth that memory, but it doesn't taste exactly like
not-
a grocery store mango or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's unique, but it's definitely different
Yeah.
than. But it's good to have a variety of these things. I
Yeah.
think.
There are so many people who hate the mango.
I
flavored
love
seltzer.
that.
I can't-
I love
crazy.
that
I
kind of
can't
like
stand
over
mango
the edge,
flavor.
you know, of
Like
that
like
mango.
a mango white claw. You like those?
No, because that's
Okay.
two
He's
mango.
judging
No, I'm
you,
saying
man. That's what I
this.
mean.
That's
We're
what I'm
gonna-
saying. This, I love that kind of like when you said like kind of overripe. I love that pushing the edge of like, okay, it's overripe. I love that
Yeah,
flavor.
The alcohol
So good.
tinge,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's what
Marries
happens.
well to it.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what happens
Yeah.
when it gets too
Yeah.
ripe.
Right.
And
Maybe I am an alcoholic.
I think so, because those things that you're talking about taste like absolute shit.
well, so mango flavored
Like
things to me
terrible.
taste like a gas station air freshener.
Yes.
They taste like a toilet
Right.
to me.
Yeah.
The mainstream.
I don't know
Right.
what's wrong with me, but every time I see mango habanero on a menu,
Sauce or
I'm like, oh yeah, I like mango habanero things. Sure. Well, I like mango habanero salsas that I make at home. I don't like it when people dump some weird chemical in with some
Fake
other weird
mango
chemical.
and-
And so
I do. I'm
It
gonna
tastes horrible to me.
I do.
I got so mad. I ordered 12 mango habanero wings at a food truck a few weeks ago, and I was just like, it tastes like a freaking truck stop bathroom to me in here.
Yeah.
Hated
yeah.
it.
No, I get that.
I had to take a napkin
get
and
that.
wipe it all off.
Brings out his
You
own
gonna
pocket
name- you gonna name
sauce.
the truck while we're just talking shit about
No,
all these
because
other things?
listen, I ate at the truck 2 days ago, and I had their nuclear hot sauce, and it was great. It's
Yeah.
not the truck's problem; it's a fake mango
your problem.
flavor problem.
Right.
It's my problem.
Right.
If everybody else is the problem, I'm the problem. You're right, Luke. It is my problem.
Look at that. Getting it
Sorry,
figured
I
out on the
keep banging
podcast.
your
Oh, you're
underpants.
good.
You're good. You're good.
Cam can't even feel it no more.
Your underpants.
And we'll finish out with the passion fruit. So the passion fruit and the mango share something
This is
in
gonna be a
common.
problem.
You'll probably
Really?
notice. You probably noticed that the color was the same on both of them, and that's because. Excuse me. Oh, I fucked you.
You punished me on that one.
Sorry.
No, that's for you, baby.
We've had plenty of this. So cheers.
We actually are alcoholics now.
I had to tell Luke to stop making me drink so much.
That's a good episode,
He
boys.
got on to me.
The passion fruit and the mango are what's called clarified juices. So they put them in a big centrifuge and they spin them, and all the pulp falls out of them. Because the unclarified versions of these juices would be like half pulp in the bottle and half normal looking juice. It just wasn't workable for our purposes. So that when you clarify it, you lose some of the more complex flavor components from the fruit pulp, but you still get the essence of that
Do you
juice.
think? Because I'm getting almost more of a kind of like a sour, not bitter, but a more of a sour flavor. And you think that's kind of from where that's coming from? Is the splitting
So
of that?
the clarifying process makes it taste more like the candy version of whatever fruit. That's how my class
Are you a
is.
big passion fruit fan? Have you had real
Yeah,
passion
yeah,
fruit
yeah.
before? I've never had real passion
Yeah.
fruit. So
Yeah.
I have
Me
no
neither.
frame of reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably worked with passion fruit in your kitchen at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, so this is different. Every passion fruit I've ever had, though, tastes completely unique. So I don't really know what I'm supposed to
Yeah.
be aiming for. This was nice, and it was
Yeah.
a little sour, but in a good way.
But I like the
Yeah.
little sour. You know,
You know
I
what
like
this
that.
is similar to? Icebreakers a long time ago came out with these little like candies that you would suck on, kind of like a mint, but they're
the
not mint
tangerine
flavored.
thing?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're called like Zours or
okay.
something,
Yeah.
but they would be in tin cans that are circular.
I remember exactly.
So
Those are
good.
the ones that had
That's
the
what this
powder
tastes
on the like to keep them
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
sticking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's exactly what this tastes like to me.
Yeah. No,
It's
I
nostalgia.
I totally see that.
Yeah,
Especially with a little bit of sour to it.
yeah.
And speaking
awesome.
of nostalgia, in that kind of realm of things, I've constantly daydream about making a white Airheads soda. Just something super,
Yeah.
or like a what are the super sour candies? Warheads.
Warheads.
Dude, and you know that is just citric acid, which is an ingredient we use quite a lot in our business.
Yeah.
And it would be really easy to make a citric acid soda that
Just-
tasted like
I mean, they license it out because they've got that energy drink.
Oh, do they?
They're partnered with one of the energy.
Yeah, the little
I should know more about
yeah,
what
I
beverages
saw
are out
that.
there.
It's really good, honestly.
Really, I haven't had it. I see
Yeah.
them everywhere
Is it?
now.
Is it? I think it's Ghost brand.
Oh, yeah.
energy drink?
Oh, I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
seen them. Yeah.
But they're pretty good.
Yeah. They also have Warhead little, like the A&W size, little 12-ounce cans. Warhead flavored soda now.
Nice. Well, that's kind of what I was. It exists, so I don't need to do it. It's great. One less thing for me
Yeah.
to worry
Well,
about.
yeah, but we can make people get drunk off of it.
Ooh, we could license some
Could
stuff.
do that.
That's the fun realm of this business that we can play around
Yeah,
with
you're in
a way
a whole new world now.
well, and larger corporations can't do smaller batch things like we want to do.
So
So
we also don't have the rules that we have. Florida is very friendly towards craft distilleries, craft distilled spirits plants, I should say.
as of recently, well,
As of
who knows what it'll look like
very-
in 2 years?
As of very recently, and I don't think the law will change before 2026 because in 2026, then you're required to use like just a shit ton of Florida agriculture products. Like
That's gonna be
most-
challenging.
Most of our stuff is going to have to come from Florida. Like we'll probably have to figure out how to get sugar straight from Florida, and we'll be distilling by that time for sure. So
Yeah.
corn from
grains.
Florida corn
Yeah.
from Milton or wherever.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So like, there's ways to do it. It's going to be difficult. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to have to probably start juicing our own
I
stuff.
was about
None
to
of
say
these,
the
none of
juicing
these
stuff is
laws are intended to help little guys.
Yeah.
They're all intended to squash
Well,
stuff.
those laws I think are intended to help the little guys, but it's not us, the little guys.
It's the little farmers,
farmer
right?
little
Yeah,
guys.
which is
Yeah.
going to hurt the little beverage manufacturers.
But So I kind of anticipate come 2027 when that law doesn't really, behoove the Florida tax board.
Yeah.
Whenever they realize that that's just really hard for small craft distilleries to do, then I think we might see some laws changing. But all the new statutes are based around that. They're all trying to make craft distilleries really be able to perform
profit
well in the meantime.
So we can afford for our prices to go up on every ingredient.
Right.
And I don't mean to talk shit. Like, if we can do everything local, we absolutely want to. You know?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I mean, Big Jerk's intention was always to buy from local farmers markets and producers when we started, but you can't always buy fruit. So now we buy from a Florida-based fruit juice company, but those fruit juices come from all over the world.
Yeah.
Because you can't grow, I don't know, passion fruit in Central Florida. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, we use, some of our juices are from India. We got juices from Indonesia. We've got juices from Mexico, Canada, where was the other weird one? I had to look at some today. We had some. Uruguay? I don't even know where that is.
Uruguay?
We got some juice from Uruguay.
Down yonder way.
Down yonder way in Uruguay.
Down
Southland.
Old Southland. Yeah.
So it's just interesting because you think of a fruit and you think it grows in a specific place, and then you remember we're all on latitudes and longitudes together or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so what we can grow here in Florida, you can also grow in whatever our African counterpart is. And I'm not saying, I don't think we have any African juices, but Central South America, lots of that stuff is grown
all
there.
along that.
So, yeah.
Are you guys allowed to say where you guys might be potentially carrying these locally?
Well, again, so distribution is the challenge. We don't have a distributor, so we have lots of commitments for Tin's brand, for Yo, all over town. People want to carry it. They're excited to have a new local brand, but you have to get a distributor and give them that information and get them excited to push your product. So right now, what you should
send them a link to this episode.
Yeah, right. What you should be looking for going forward.
It was delicious.
Is just we're gonna have social media up by the end of the week.
Okay.
For Milkweed Spirits, it'll be at Milkweed_Spirits. If you're following along at home, if you go to that, it'll probably be up by the time the episode's up. So if you go to that, we'll keep you updated on where we're gonna be. But the primary way that you're gonna be able to get a hold of us, maybe till the end of the year, is going to be these markets that we're going to start doing, these festivals that we're going to be at, these different events that we're going to find, holiday markets and whatever. We'll keep everybody updated on where we're going to be, and come buy it from us if you want us to continue existing in this state, because we need, we need to get some sales.
Tag
going.
us in the post. We'll repost it so we can have our followers
absolutely
be able to show up to it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, once we get stuff going, we'll tag everybody we can think of so that so people know that we're here. And without backtracking too much, one of the things we did, my wife and I had our anniversary last week, and we decided we had just a big date day. Thank you. Yeah. 8 years. We had a big date day where we just kind of went out to eat every meal and went and just hung out all day. And one of the things that we wanted to do, Jen had made an appointment at the archives where she used to work downtown. Oh, cool. And we looked up the history of distilling in Pensacola. And it was super cool to kind of see the roots of this. And what we found was there is no history of distilling legally past Prohibition. Before Prohibition, there was technically two distilleries, one of which was 3 different distilleries in one. It changed names 3 times because they got busted for distilling when the tax man wasn't there or whatever in 1918 before Prohibition hits. But before that, there was this place called Jet Black Distilling. And so a lot of our social media that you'll see if you come to our page first off is going to be the history of distilling in Pensacola. And we're just going to talk about, saloons and bars and all this kind of stuff that was going on, and the tradition that we're proud to be kind of carrying on.
Oh, that's awesome.
None of this stuff is trademarked from these 100-year-old companies, so we may be ripping off some of their brands and some of their labels.
Yeah, information on that Jet Black place.
Jet Black, there's only 2 pieces of information. There's 2 artifacts. There's a corkscrew that's branded that they would give away as a gift, and there's a shot glass, and the shot glass is my favorite shot glass I've ever seen. Yeah. It says Jet Black Distilling on the side, and it's got 3 lines. The bottom line says ladies, the middle line says gents, and the top line just has a picture of a pig. If you're taking the full shot, you're just a pig. So,
but that's honest.
Over 100-year-old shot glass.
But that's
1916.
That's awesome. Is there more than one? Do you guys own one? Or is it just like...
No, we found pictures of all this stuff in the archives when we were up there.
I thought maybe you got a hold of one.
There's this old dude named Philip. He's in his 90s, and he is the premier historian of all things bottled in Pensacola. And he's written 2 books, one on soda bottling and one on distilled spirits in
sick.
Pensacola. And so we found his book in the archives, and I found through some other people I know that are in the bottle collecting game, I kind of found his name and his number and all this stuff, and I called him up and left a message on his, I'm assuming, like cassette tape voicemail machine.
Right.
And I was just like, yo, dude, or no, yo, dude. Good afternoon, sir.
Yo, dude.
Good afternoon, sir.
What up, Playboy?
What up, dog?
Holler at me,
My
dog.
boy Phil.
I was like,
Hey,
I found
yo.
your book at the whatever archives, and I'd like to buy a copy of it. I can't find it online. Please let me know how I can find it. He calls me up. He said, I got copies for sale if you want to come by someday. And I said, well, we're on the phone now. Can I come right now? And so I went and bought the book from him. And you know how it is with elderly folk. He let me in the door, closed the door behind me, locked it with a key, and then come on in and sit down and talk to me for an hour. But he's a super fascinating guy, and he has these original 1900s shot glasses.
Holy
He has
shit.
that.
So
The
he
pictures
has
in his book were part of his collection at some point in time. He's got a Lewis Bear 1 gallon whiskey canteen jug.
No
It's a
way.
ceramic
from
thing.
the OG.
Yeah, it's like a $500 canteen now, the collector's item, and it says
dude.
Lewis Bear Company on it. And he's got some from the original. I'm going to buy one of the ones. He's got the Sprinkle Distillery is one of the 3 names of the second distillery, the only real big name distillery that was on Garden Street. And the Sprinkle Distillery, he's got 3 of the original 1 gallon jugs that you would buy booze in from these companies. And so I'm going to buy one of those from him for a couple $100 because it's a cool piece of history. And it'll be good if we're ever doing
sick.
tours to talk about the history of Pensacola's distilling. I got real nerdy and real excited when I started reading this stuff and learning about it. So I'll kind of calm down now. But I'm just excited to share where we came from,
Mellow
where
your
we're
mellow.
going.
No,
to
be excited,
No,
bro.
and
How
I
does
think-
it
I
feel?
think, I think a lot of that shit though, like I know you were talking about the trademarking stuff, but like you're paying homage to like the old
Yeah.
school. You know what I mean? Like
Golden
I mean,
Corn.
if we knew
That's
who
fucking-
the Jet Black people were, we'd reach out. Same as
Yeah.
we reached out to the
Phil.
author of that book.
Yeah, Philip.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we
we
definitely.
want to be about it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Sprinkle and Jet Black and Spectre and the final name of it was Pensacola Distilling Company. No one exists. There's nothing that exists anymore.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
It
So
was probably mostly destroyed during
Prohibition, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, right.
and there was a whole chapter on. He was like, they had this much backstock at any one time. More about that in later chapters, because guess what happens in 1920? It all goes down the
Right.
sewers.
Yeah.
You know?
And then I'm sure the people probably didn't want their names involved in that with all the prohibition stuff
Right.
too. So it's like kind of hard to track shit down
Yeah,
through that
And
era.
that's actually another conversation that
Yeah.
Ryan and I have had. Like, there isn't a lot of history of distilling in Pensacola because people didn't want that shit written down.
Right,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of history of moonshiners, but you ain't ever gonna find them.
There's a really good list that a graduate student had in the archive. They pull everything when you tell the archives what you're looking up. They pull it just a stack of shit for you, and then you get to go through it. And so they pull all this stuff, and one of the file just says bootlegging. And we're opening it up, and there's not so much information. There's really one bootlegging case that it focuses on, but there's a whole list of headlines. And it's just headline after headline of 10 barrels smashed here, 10 barrels found and smashed here, 5 barrels smashed here. And they're just talking about all the bootlegging.
You sound like an old radio news.
10 barrels. No, it's not. I guess
Yeah,
what
it
you
was
were
a
going to say
little bit
before you
different.
finished. Because I
We were gonna let you go with it.
But yeah, so I don't know. There's some cool history of bootlegging, but it's very much just like them getting busted.
Yeah.
Except for, like Luke says, the ones you don't find out about are the best ones.
Right.
We'll never know.
Well, how does it feel now that you know that you're like kind of etching your own name in that history book?
It's extremely exciting because
That's crazy.
Sorry, I should let
No,
you
go
talk.
ahead,
So
baby.
it's extremely exciting to me because we're the first. Luke told me today we're the first ever licensed distillery in Pensacola because
Ever, right?
even those ones before Prohibition, there was no licensing
wasn't.
like there
Yeah.
is now.
Yeah.
So you can say for sure we're the only distillery since Prohibition that's official, right?
That's
In
so
Pensacola.
awesome.
So to me, that's a
within
point of
Pensacola
pride.
proper. In
Either-
the city of Pensacola.
Either it's a point of pride, or we're fools. And
You
no
know
one
what
else
you
does
should
it
put
because
on your
it's a terrible
label?
idea.
You should put legally cool.
Legally cool.
Yeah.
That should just be added.
Distilled
for sure.
enough.
Distilled enough.
Filtered enough.
Yeah.
Legally cool. That's
Premium.
The government says we're premium.
Premium. according to government, daddy.
Premium and legally cool.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. man.
Rollins Distillery and Gulf Breeze, they're the first in
Yeah.
the area.
And they're awesome, and we love them.
Nice
and
people.
when we say stuff like that, we're not intending to take anything away from anybody
Right.
else. But if we can find this to survive as a small business, you have to find those little designations.
Yeah.
That's Big
Yeah.
Jerk had to
Oh,
do it.
yeah.
Local, all natural.
Yeah.
All these little words that are hot buttons. That's how you get people to pay attention.
Yeah.
So
But that's what people
First
look.
is-
I mean,
Yeah.
like
You
you
guys
said,
are
those hot
shaking,
buttons.
bro. Y'all are making it work.
yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome to see.
it doesn't feel that way every day, but it's nice to
Yeah.
know that it looks that way.
I
Yeah.
thought that's what you were going to ask. Like, how does it feel now that you're doing this? And I was going to say, broke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
real broke.
Yeah, but
I can't even imagine. Like, you know, they say anytime you make a company, like the first year, you're gonna be broke before you ever make any sort of money. Like, I know y'all have been.
Well, Big Jerk's 5 years in, and
Yeah,
we're
I
not
know
broke,
it's been
but
a
we're not
while.
making anything. We're breaking even
Yeah.
every year.
Well,
You know?
let them taste these flavors, bro.
Yeah, well,
It's gonna
hopefully-
be bananas.
The markup is better. The margins are better on alcohol.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
than on sugar cane.
not to sound too like doom and gloom, but Big Jerk was coming to a point where we had grown to a volume, but everything went crazy after the pandemic with pricing. Our sugar went from being $11 a bag to now today was $20.79 a bag. And that's not a huge deal, but it's a huge deal. I used to pay less than $100
mean,
to
that
go
is
get
a
all my
huge
sugar
deal.
for a week, and now it's $200. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so things change, and we had started with a price point that we felt was a little high, but our margins were so tight because of how we were buying bottles and
Right.
we weren't buying in quantities. So then we finally got to the point where we were buying in the right quantities to actually save some money, to actually make our margins make sense. And then we got ass blasted by the pandemic and post-pandemic
shipping
price
costs,
hiking,
inflation,
shipping costs.
and-
All this stuff is absolutely out of control. And so it's not the only way that we could have made it work, but maybe probably the most fun way. That like this is what's going to make Big Jerk be allowed to stay alive and to continue on is
Yeah.
to do this thing that has a better margin and to be able to create things for other people in a new realm. It's how we stay what's the word, not viable but
Relevant.
relevant. It's how we stay relevant and viable, I guess, in the market is
Gotta
by
evolve.
evolving into something different. Because craft soda is a fun game, but we accidentally got bigger than we should have for margins and stuff like that.
Right.
Accidentally, it happens when the product's that good, though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you ain't lying.
yeah.
You know,
And now we're going to put alcohol in it. So
that's a
people won't
problem.
be afraid of spending money on it. People
Yeah.
are afraid of
Right.
spending,
$3.
more than a couple bucks on a soda.
Yeah.
People aren't afraid of
That's the
spending
scary
more than
thing,
a couple
though.
of bucks on alcohol.
We've never raised our prices at Big Jerk.
Yeah,
We've
right.
always been the exact same price, and it was getting to the point where it's like we're gonna have to raise our prices because A, everything's gone up in price, our juices,
Right.
all this stuff, but B, you got now Coke and Pepsi are getting closer to us. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, we're almost more competitive with them now, but we're
Right.
going broke being competitive with them.
Right.
So what do we do?
Yeah.
So I think we found a way to not raise our prices at Big Jerk, which is partially because of this, but also
Yeah.
I found a sick new glass supplier, bro.
Hey. Hell yeah.
We'll see.
Dude, we are so stoked for the future and what you guys have brought to the table. I mean, this is insane.
We literally
This
drank
table.
them all. Congratulations. Good job.
Yeah, dude.
And it
These
was
were
without
fucking-
effort.
Yeah.
Did
Absolutely.
not even
hitters,
try, and I
bro.
was like, what else you got?
hitters, dude.
Yeah.
Those are
Glad
awesome.
you guys enjoyed them.
Yeah,
For
dude.
you guys, the spicy thing just for, like, we don't have
Shits
to come
and
back.
gigs.
No,
Yeah.
so how about this? You want to come by the shop and see the plant someday?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Oh,
Fuck
dude,
yeah,
for
dude.
sure.
Come take a tour with us.
Fuck
Hang
yeah.
out in the office and we'll drink spicy booze.
Dude,
Okay.
that's
We've
awesome.
got a pinball machine. We've got
Video arcade.
Tetris.
Damn.
Dude, for
We're
sure.
a cool,
Sounds like a nice environment.
youthful environment. Cool for the kids.
Yeah, hell
So,
yeah, dude.
we'll keep in touch, and you guys can come by anytime you want. We're there all the time.
We'll definitely do
Hell
that.
yeah, dude.
sure.
Is there anything else you guys want to shout out or announce before we get out of here?
We hope you had fun at Night Moves Fest if you were there. That's
Yeah.
because this is going to be out after that. That's the
Yeah.
only thing we got going on. Be
We
looking
had
out
a
for the social
blast.
media. Yeah, we had a great time. Luke especially. You should have seen how drunk he was.
I'll be drunk for 12.
He barely made it
I was
here.
drunk for 12 hours. I'll tell you.
He barely made it here.
But yeah, be looking out for the social media, and Big Jerk will be publishing all that, linking to all that stuff. Be looking out for the social media. Be looking out for our farmers markets coming up, hopefully in the future, and different events and festivals and stuff. And you'll be able to come
We're gonna-
taste whatever we're doing.
We're going to start doing those markets this year. Like, it'll be within the...
Probably weeks from now.
2023?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
It's so close to the end of the year. Oh god, it's so
Oh,
close
and
to
it's
Christmas.
perfect
What's
time, though. It's
November,
nice little
bro.
chill in the
Yeah.
air.
We need to do a
Dude.
Christmas label.
Gonna be
We need to
hard
just
as
go
nails.
That's the tradition of Big Jerk soda. Our first
Yeah,
label
so-
was a Christmas label. So
Got to. You got to.
Celebrate.
generic holiday,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
non-denominational
Generic
holiday.
holiday.
A holiday
A holiday label. Well, hell yeah. Thank y'all for coming and hanging
Thanks
out.
for having
Thank
us.
you so much for bringing this.
Yeah,
This was amazing.
You got
So
more right there.
we appreciate it.
Yep.
So
We'll leave
hell
them with
yeah.
you.
We'll
don't
take them.
tempt us. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching.
Hey,
Thank
brother,
you guys
we got
for listening.
Sponsors.
Oh, fuck. We do have sponsors.
Yeah, brother's trying to
Okay,
get out of here
go
without
ahead.
getting paid.
Let's go, dog.
Dude, if you are possibly needing any type of security, because y'all shit is going to be absolutely valuable,
Yes.
and you need some training for that security, Kazushi Club Pensacola, a room full of killers. We teach jiu-jitsu, judo, wrestling. Judo and wrestling is Monday. That's with Dakota. He's also got a like gladiator type league.
Yeah.
Have you seen the
Bayou
footage
something.
he's been posting?
Yeah, it's my homies
With-
that are with him.
Axes.
Yeah.
Wielding axes
Yeah.
and shields and just
It's like a
sweeping
Knights
people.
League. Yeah.
It's crazy. Have you ever
Yeah.
seen Cable Guy?
Oh yeah,
Brother,
like medieval
it's-
times.
medieval
It's
times.
just like the
Yeah.
medieval times. I mean, it's
like
just
foam
like that.
weapons. Foam
Oh,
weapons?
no,
or real
these
axes?
are
real axes.
real-
yeah.
real
like
axes.
real chainmail. It's the whole nine.
Every
Dude,
day I
they-
realize how not a man I am.
It's insane. it's scary.
Well, dude, if you want to become just that much more
Come
of a
on,
man,
Yeah.
Kazushi Club Pensacola, right
I
off
have a
of
fork?
Scenic and Cervantes, kind of
Yeah.
neat,
Yeah.
catty corner to Running Wild. We do open mat every Saturday. You can come check it out for free, and just kind of get a vibe for the room. If they're not in Pensacola, where could they go?
They're going to Panacea Martial Arts, baby,
Hell
over in Foley, Alabama. That is Tony Rayborn's gym, a huge gym, a constantly growing gym.
Absolutely.
But they have all different kinds of classes. I'm not 100% sure on the schedule, but they have one every single day.
Yeah, it's
For sure.
every single night, and then they also run like cardio kickboxing. So it's not just teaching you jiu-jitsu, but they're also getting you in shape if you're trying to just get into
Cool.
a more active lifestyle. They're also winning team titles all the time.
Yeah, I mean every time there's a local competition or any competition that
They're
comes to
placing.
town, they're top tier. So definitely check them out. If you're over there on Wednesday night, you'll meet Rich Chemleski, who owns a Lifestyle Experiment, which is our rash guard and no-gi apparel company
Yes.
that sponsors us. Which I mean, absolutely kill it. All their stuff is super high quality. They are dropping new stuff.
Which would have
beginning of
already
November.
happened November 1st.
Oh,
which
yeah,
already happened,
true.
so you can
So-
go on his website and order
Yeah.
that stuff.
Go get it. And if you want to sign up for their email stuff, you can sign up at alefl.com. That'll let you know when all the drops are coming out, keep you up to date on all the new stuff they have dropping. And, yeah, check them out at A Lifestyle Experiment on Instagram.
Yeah, and if you, I mean, you guys clearly like tattoos.
Sure. Yeah. they're
So if you
okay.
guys want to add another one, or if any of us do, Johnny Mumbles at a Sacred Ground Tattoo Studio.
Oh, Johnny.
I got a Johnny Mumbles right on the back of my leg right now.
Hey, yo.
Johnny did my tramp stamp.
Oh, wow.
Oh, now that you say that, we have to see it. Let's see the tramp stamp.
You gotta show the
Legally.
candy.
Yeah, you got to show everybody
Legally.
on air now. I am contemplating getting a tramp
You don't
stamp.
have to give me that much
Fuck
crack.
yeah, dude.
Wow.
That's
He gave us all the
gangster.
crack. There you go.
Says
That's
death
perfect.
keeps calling. That's so sick.
That's gangster.
Mine,
That's
I won't
gangster.
get up because I'll just knock something over. Mine's looks like an AK, but it's made out of a rolling pin and a cheese grater and
Oh, nice.
a knife and all kinds of other kitchen utensils.
Do we have
Love
any
that.
company tattoos?
I have a big jerk tattoo on
Oh,
my
really?
ankle. I had Gabe Smith. He's a big fan of our cherry limeade. Sorry. And I have a motto at
Oh, nice.
we have a motto at work that's if you work with glass, you work with broken glass. And so Gabe did my broken cherry
That's
limeade
hard.
bottle on my ankle.
That's bananas.
That's hard.
One of the hurtingest tattoos I ever done got. He
Yeah.
really,
Dude,
but
lead
he
tattoos.
ordered special color inks and stuff for it. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Back to Johnny Mumbles.
Oh, you're good.
I'm going to interrupt because I have one too.
Oh,
ahead.
you do? What do you got?
Because I started the Monarch Path Milkweed Spirits tattoo right there.
Oh, nice. All the
Nice.
buddy flies.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Give him the good.
Oh, yeah.
Turn your head upside down.
Oh, yeah.
It's covering up my straight edge X from when I used to
Nice.
shred.
Not anymore.
Nice.
Dude, that's awesome. But Johnny can absolutely tattoo anything you want on you.
Mine is one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite pieces I have, and he did it for me 12 years ago, and it still looks like
Yeah.
a real gem. So yeah, he's a
He
great.
did mine
tattoo
when I
artist.
was
Killer.
drunk as absolute shit at that tattoo convention. Like I was laying down while he was tattooing my tramp stamp, and anytime somebody would say something funny, or if I thought I had something funny to say, I would, like in the middle of pulling a line, I would just get straight off the table. And be like, yell or
no.
laugh
You're
or
the
whatever.
worst.
It's just like,
Well, he's good, people. If you want to get something done by him, just hit him up on either. You can either contact us or go to his direct page. It's just Johnny Mumbles on Instagram. Amazing guy. Great conversation while you're there getting tattooed.
If you can understand him.
Yeah, he does mumble. I mean, it comes with the territory.
With a name like Johnny Mumbles.
You got
Yeah.
to.
Well, we can't thank you guys enough for coming on. I know
you.
we're going to
Thanks,
wrap
man.
it up again, but
Oh, yeah. For the second time.
dude,
It's
it
okay.
was a banger podcast.
Yeah. It's good
Cheers.
shit.
Absolutely.
So thank
See you
y'all.
soon.
Yeah. Fuck
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We're actually getting the fuck up out of here. We love you. Yee, 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 yee.